Hello guys and welcome back to the Traitors UK ranking of season 3. Now this has been hotly anticipated, guys. You guys have been excited. I've been excited to get into it, and I finally found a gap in my schedule to actually get this up and get this recorded. I'm currently going through a little bit of a rough time at the moment. Not like a genuinely rough time. It's just my room has been cleared out because we've been redecorating it. So the next time you see me in my room, fingers crossed, I will not be in the office. I will be in my, I say new bedroom, it's the same bedroom, it's just a different configuration. But either way, it should be exciting. We've got lots of cool content coming. I just haven't been able to make a lot of content recently because for the last 5 days, my room has been gutted and it's been painted, it's been wallpapered, it's been all over the gaff. And honestly, it's an absolute nightmare at the moment. So, without much further ado, let us get straight into this Traitors ranking because I am super excited. Let's go! Now guys, just a reminder that these are solely my opinions. If you want to disagree with me in the comment section, I am more than happy for you to do so. But just make sure you are respectful. You're not having a go at me. You're not calling me names for my silly decisions. I am just giving you my opinion on the game. This is going to be partially like to do with the game and how well they played it and also how much I enjoyed them. Remember, iconic tier is reserved for my favourite person, not necessarily the best player, okay? So if I put someone in the top that is not a good player, but I really enjoyed them, I don't want anyone being like, they don't deserve iconic status. Like, I don't care. They're my favourite player. That's enough. Everything else, you can disagree with. Not iconic, okay? Thank you. So, up first, we have Yin. And part of me really wants to put her in the legendary column. I mean the, am I traitor or am I faithful? Or is it, are you traitor? Either way, that song, iconic, hilarious, wonderful. What a fantastic way of introducing yourself to the world. I want her to come back next series. She's a robbed queen. But obviously I am going to have to put her in not enough time. We didn't really get enough time to see how she would have played the game. So I really can't comment. Same with Nathan and Keith. I just feel like these three were not good in terms of they just didn't get enough screen time. So I didn't get enough to really hone in on, did they actually have a good game? Did they not have a good game? I mean, Keith, bless him, all we saw him do was some taekwondo. Woohoo! Was it taekwondo? Was it karate? I'm not even sure. Judo, potentially. Some kind of martial arts. He was slaying the gaff, and I was really impressed. Nathan, he went first round table. I actually can't even remember how he went first round table. I think he brought up a point about, like, Linda, and everyone was like, nah, it's not Linda. Nah, it's not Linda. And then they got rid of him, which is hilarious. We'll talk more about Linda later. But yeah, these three, I feel like these three are going to be my only not enough times. But I could be wrong. I could disagree. I've just realised that my camera's been going in and out of focus, so I apologise for that one. So, next up, we have Elen. And actually, I'm going to put Elen in strong game. She came out of the gates immediately and went, I think it's all women this year. And that's a logical assumption to make based on the game that was played last year. And it was the correct logical assumption. And nobody listened to her and she got banished. I feel like I can't give you too much flack for getting banished, because I felt like she put up a good argument. Sometimes herd mentality just gets the better of you. And it's tough when you're fighting against herd mentality, especially this early in the game. Herd mentality is a vicious animal. And I feel like Elen could have been incredibly strong within the game. She could have easily exposed Charlotte, I reckon. The further she got in the game, the more that Charlotte began to slip up, the more that she started to sound like she was from London. It would have been interesting to have her on the series for longer. And I gotta say, I really enjoy watching her on TikTok. So I feel like Strong Game is a perfect place for her. Now Armani. Armani's going in the meh category. And purely because I loved Armani. I thought Armani was really funny. I thought she was really entertaining. And I just feel like she could have done so much more because she would have essentially been the kind of person that she just went in too hard too fast. And in this kind of game, you go in too hard too fast, you get kicked out early on. And that's exactly what happened with Armani. I don't think she was a bad traitor, because I feel like her strategy was working to an extent. People were clocking onto her, but really it was what her sister said that really like amplified it. And speaking of her sister, poor player, I'm sorry, if my sister was in the game and I thought that she was a traitor, I would not be telling anybody. I'd be like, I'm using this to my advantage. Oh, sis, I don't think you're a traitor. I don't think you're a traitor. I don't think you're a traitor. So she takes me all the way to the end with her. Do you know what I mean? Play the game, people. Come on. Why would you expose your sister so early in the game and be like, oh, I think you're actually a traitor? I would lie and I'd be like, no, I don't think she's a traitor. Even though I actually do. In my confessionals, I'd be like, no, I do think this bitch is a traitor. I'd be like, nah, she's not a traitor around the round table. I'd have to be, because the thing in this game, the smartest way of getting to the end of the game, and we're going to see this with who makes it to the final, okay? We're going to see that. You have to be friends with a traitor to make it to the end, or exceptionally stupid, okay? And I have to be honest, I don't think anybody in the final 7 was exceptionally stupid. I think I've got the numbers right there. Yeah, sure, we'll go with that. But either way, I don't feel like any of them were exceptionally stupid. I feel like they were all connected in some way to a traitor, and that is how they made it that far in the game. So Maia, you had the perfect link to a traitor, and you threw it away, you dashed it away by exposing her around the round table and getting her voted out. Because a lot of people said that it was her sort of saying, I don't trust my own sister, that made people vote for her. I would have kept that under wraps until I needed to get rid of her. There is no incentive to getting rid of a traitor early on in the game. There's no incentive whatsoever, because then they just regroup. They can recruit, they can add another person to their masses, and then, oh, we're back to square one. Someone's been turned into a traitor. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so difficult when you get to that point, because I don't think for the first, 6 episodes, you should be banishing any traitors. And then the back, you have 6 more round tables from then on to get the 3 or 4 traitors out. I think that you're better off just getting rid of the shit people in the first 6 episodes than getting rid of any traitors. What's the point? Anyway, moving swiftly on. Jack. Okay, I did say that there was going to be no more people and not enough time, but I do feel like he did not have enough time. I just feel like, yeah, it was tough. It was tough. It was tough for him, I can't lie. Kind of rough that he got all the way there, and his highlights were getting on the train, getting off the train, hanging in a cage, and then staying in the cage because no one let him out. Tough. But also, would I have rather him over Alexander and Fozia? No. I really liked Alexander, and Fozia was kind of funny at times. So, yeah. Anyway, moving on to Kaz. I feel like I need a got unlucky section. This bro had a rough time in there. They all targeted him because he was a doctor? ? Doctor by day, murderer by night? Basically Harold Shipman? No, I'm sorry. That was bullshit reasoning from everybody involved, and they should all be ashamed of themselves. I'm sorry, but that is disgusting. It was embarrassing to watch that round table. Both of those round tables. The one where he was viciously attacked and then Armani got, sent to banishment. And then the second one where he just got absolutely brutalised again. And he just sat there what is the point of playing anymore? What is the point? Okay? And do you know what? I kind of agree with him, I can't lie. But, yeah, he's going to stay in the got lucky section. Tyler, poor player. Olivia, poor player. Those two sucked ass. Absolutely sucked ass. They were the worst Traitors players that I've seen in a hot minute since the likes of Australia season 2. And if you know me, that was the second season or the third season that I watched after UK 1 and 2. So it's been a while since I've seen poor players like this. Poor ass players. Oh God, I cannot tell you the happiness that I felt when those two left back to back. because they were creating such a toxic atmosphere within the castle. It was so jarring. And obviously, I feel like they themselves are not horrible, nasty people. But when they were in that little clique, and yes, it was a clique before they start arguing. Okay, yeah, I just didn't rate it. I really did not rate it one little bit. So, honestly, not a bit of me, personally. Anyway, moving on to Dan. Now, I want to put Dan in strong game, because I feel like the way he was playing the game was strong. The Traitors is a selfish game. You have to play for yourself, not play for the group. And he was doing that. I just don't think that this cast, or the Traitors UK in general, is ready for that kind of gameplay. This brothers genuinely watched the Traitors US, where they're all out for themselves and they don't treat it like a group game. And that's how it's meant to be played. This is a trust no one exercise. There should be trust in absolutely nobody. So you are out for yourselves and you're making selfish decisions. If you want a shield, go get the shield. Cool. Fine. That's how you should be playing this game. And I feel like he had a strong idea of how to play it. But the reason he got banished was for more personal reasons than for gameplay reasons and for how good or bad he was playing the game. They didn't think he was a traitor. They just got pissed off that he made a couple of decisions. Like dunking Frankie and Mina. Yeah, that was the only thing that cost him this game. And it's sad, but this is why I was saying in the first 6 episodes, vote out the people that you have grievances with, that you don't like. That's why they got rid of Tyler. That's why they got rid of Dan. That's why they got rid of Kaz. That's why they got rid of Nathan, I guess. I don't know. I still don't know why Nathan went home. I'm still confused. But either way, I feel like Dan was playing a strong game and he was just a victim of friendships falling apart more than a victim of playing a poor game. As for Fozia, I don't think Fozia had a particularly strong game, but I also don't want to put her in Meg Got Lucky. Maybe I'll put her at the end of strong game, just because I feel like this woman made herself a target straight away for the Traitors. As soon as they didn't recruit her, she was a target. She was the perfect person to murder because she was too tuned in. She'd locked into Linda and she was kind of on it. And then, unfortunately, her game ended because of a luck-based game. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was... There was some kind of tactic to it, but not enough to really warrant enough of a skill cap for people. It was a luck game at the end of the day. It was, can you read your fellow people? If you can't, get lucky. Oh, I felt bad for Fozia, but I feel like she left at the perfect time. I feel like any longer and it would have been a little bit revealing that she maybe wasn't as good a player as we thought she was. But in the short time that she was in the game, I felt like she had strong moments. She had a great exit. And that leads us on to Linda. Linda's going in Legendary. And the reason why Linda is going in Legendary is because, was she a poor player? Absolutely. But did she survive until episode 7? Absolutely. And did the only reason that she get caught was because of the whole Traitors? Like, that is such an iconic, hilarious, legendary thing to do. And as much as I want to put her in iconic, I can't. I just can't. And this is where it gets tough, because do I base this solely on the game, or do I base it on how much they brought to the show and how much they entertained me? Because at the end of the day, The Traitors is just as much a game show as it is an entertainment show. And Linda brought so much entertainment. When she killed off Fozia and she went, get over it. Oh my, I was gobsmacked. I was absolutely gobsmacked. I was like, this woman did not just tell someone that she's just murdered to get over it. What? That is hilarious. So I think she's in Legendary, regardless of how good or bad she played. She made it over halfway in the competition as an original traitor. And she wasn't the first traitor out, even though there was significant suspicion on her the entire time. I feel like only really Jake was the only person that kind of was driving it until people just got to the point where they were like, okay, we kind of got to get rid of her and just see at this point, because otherwise, like, this is just getting ridiculous. And even then, when she was kicked out, it was an incredibly close vote. It was a tough one. And I think if Mina hadn't have voted for her, she would have stayed in, or it would have been a slightly more balanced vote. I don't know. But either way, I think she played an incredibly good game. And I was entertained the entire time. Tuning in every single night to watch Linda's antics. Nothing will ever beat that. Nothing will ever beat that. But next up, we have Anna. And Anna is going at the end of Meh Got Lucky. This woman thought she knew everything. When she was like, oh my god, it's Mina. It's Mina. I was like, oh my god. How have you worked this one out? Oh, because she passed me a drink. And I was sat there like, I did literally the Mina. You know the face that she pulled? Yeah. I was like, huh? She also spelt Mina's name hilariously wrong, which was brilliant. But this is why I don't like rewarding correct answer, wrong method. Because Anna was right, it was Mina. But she doesn't get any points for that. Because that's like me going, oh, it's Linda because she did a couple of cartwheels and I think that's a traitor move. Well, no, she didn't do any cartwheels. So what are you talking about? Do you know what I mean? It's just absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, you don't get points for that. I'm sorry. You got a lucky guess and that is about it. So yeah, you didn't even vote Linda out at her own sort of execution. Do you know what I mean? Sort yourself out, Anna. You're not even playing the game properly. Anyway, Alex, I would have put him in not enough time. I can't believe that this bro made episode 8 and I know nothing about him. I know nothing. Like, absolutely nothing. That's hilarious. Oh, God. Yeah, that's tough and rough, that one from him. Honestly. Next up, Lisa. I feel like she deserves to go at the end of, Strong Game. Because this woman held on to a secret that was essentially her saving grace in the game. Everybody believed that she was a faithful as soon as she said, I am a priest and I swear to God I'm not a faithful. And that is on God. Literally on God. So I feel like she had that reverse Uno card in her back pocket. And I feel like she just unleashed it at the wrong time. But even so, it still kept her in the game for a little bit. I just felt like as soon as Linda went, there was nothing keeping her in the game with the traitors. The traitors were Mina and Charlotte at this point, and they had no genuine connection to Lisa in more than like a friend capacity. It wasn't like she was helping keep Mina or Charlotte there. So that's why she ended up a victim late game. But I feel like she was playing a strong game up until that point. Very few people thought that she was a traitor. When she did get accused of being a traitor at a round table, she was eloquent, she was articulate. She gave a good argument and I was impressed. So I got to give her credit where credit's due. She did do a fantastic job. So, you know what? Big claps. You made it quite far in the game, to be fair. Leon's a tough one because I think I'd put him at the top of Meh Got Lucky purely because I just don't think he had a strong... Oh, no, fuck it. I'll put him in Strong Game. I'll put him at the end of Strong Game. He made it to episode 9 at the end of the day. He made it to the end of episode 9. He managed to fight off criticism. People only believed that he was a traitor because they believed that there must have been a traitor in that mix. And I feel like this is a lesson to every single person playing the traitors. When there are 4 people picked, don't automatically assume that one of them must be a traitor, because you end up banishing a lot of people from that group incorrectly, and it is a little bit jarring. Like, you got lucky with it in season 2 when obviously both Paul and Ash were in there, but in season 1 all 3 of the ones picked were faithful. Season 3, all 3 of the ones picked were faithful. In season... Oh, I can't even remember. Going all the way back. But you know what I mean. It's those kind of things that really change the show and make it into a witch hunt of those 4 particular people. Fozia was gone, Anna was murdered, so it had to be between Leon and Alexander. Well, no, it didn't. Those 2 were put up as decoys to distract you. And I feel like he fell victim to that. a victim of his own circumstances, which is really, really sad. Joe, you're going at the bottom. You're going at the bottom of poor players. You know earlier when I said that Tyler and Olivia were like the worst players I've ever seen? I think Joe might be the worst player I've ever seen. I could not stand the fact that every single time he'd come in with a new theory, oh, I think it's this person. And it just wasn't that person. Not once did he ever get anything right, I don't think. Not as far as I can remember. I think he might have voted for Linda, and he might have voted for Armani, but like those were group herd mentality votes. So shut up, Joe. That was so funny though, watching him just absolutely get every single thing wrong. That was so humbling for him, and I just feel bad because actually it's just tough and rough for him at the end of the day, isn't it? It's just tough and rough. Next up, we have Mina. She's got to go in Legendary. This series had good traitors for the most part. Like 3 out of 5 of them were exceptional. And 3 out of 4 of them, I'm not counting Freddy as a traitor. He was a traitor for 1 day and he got executed immediately. He was a much better faithful than he was a legendary player. So tough and rough for him, honestly. But Mina, she played an excellent game. She was a victim of who she chose as the recruitment, and I feel like she was also a victim of really wanting to stay true to the sisterhood. Once Linda was gone, that should have been the end of the sisterhood, and it should have been, I'm playing my own game now. And she should have been setting up Charlotte in some way, taking the fall for something, and I just feel like she missed out on that opportunity. I can't even remember what got her voted out. Oh, it was because Frankie was like, oh, I think you were trying to push it onto me because you knew I was the correct answer. I feel like she should just stay quiet in that. But either way, legendary player. Watching Mina play this game was exciting because nobody suspected her for the first 8 episodes. Then in episode 9, some suspicions started to crop up. Episode 10, suspicions started to crop up. Up until that point, she was flying under the radar. Even when Elen was like, oh, you passed me a drink. She was like, fuck off, did I? I asked you to look after my drink. There's a difference. Okay, there's a difference. Oh, God. But yeah, I feel like, Mina, fantastic job. I really enjoyed you. You did a great job there. Freddy, I'm putting him at the top of strong game. Purely because until he was a traitor, this guy was playing a 10 out of 10 game. He clocked on to the fact it was Mina quite early on, actually, compared to some other people. He also played the perfect game of, I've got enough sus on me that the traitors don't want to kill me, but I haven't got enough sus that people want to vote me out. He rode that wave perfectly all the way to episode 11 until he was blackmailed and set up for execution, and then he was just a fool. He was a fool! If he had managed to survive that episode and make it to the final, I probably would have put him in Legendary, because he played such a good game up until that point, and it was so jarring to just watch him absolutely fumble being a traitor. As soon as he went, yeah, Mina told me. Oh, what? When? Oh, at the bar last night. She didn't make it to the bar. She was banished. I was like, oh, Freddy. How can you make this mistake? It's poor from you. It's absolutely poor. So yeah, unfortunately, Freddy, you capped at the top of strong game. You did a good job. I can't give you much more than that, do you know what I mean? But next up, we do have Charlotte. And, oh, do I put her... I'm going to put her below Mina. I feel like, obviously, the seer twist fucked her game up a little bit. And she did her best to try and get out of it. But it's tough. It's a tough one. I do feel like Charlotte, especially, was just a joy to watch on screen. I started the show and I was like, why is this random woman pretending to be Welsh? And then all of a sudden, I wanted to pretend to be Welsh. I was like, this woman's so iconic. When she joined the sisterhood and then backstabbed Mina like she did, I was like, rah, this is crazy. When she set Freddy up for failure, she was exceptional. She was the traitor that I was hoping for on this series. Someone that was just cutthroat, brutal, set excellent game plans in motion. Getting Freddy out at that last round table and executing it the way that she did, sensational. Like, absolutely sensational. I was really impressed, I can't lie. But yeah, Charlotte, you did a fantastic job. Alexander, am I going to break my rule? I'm going to break my rule. Alexander and Francesca are going in iconic. Normally this is requested for, like reserved for one person. But I can't choose between Alexander and Francesca. They were both the most entertaining and the funniest people on the series. And aside from Linda, Linda had hilarious moments, don't get me wrong. But these two, consistently, every single episode, were bringing the drama, were bringing the flair. Francesca with her outfits, she was slaying the house down boots. She was incredible. Both of these people, excellent. The excellent. Just 10 out of 10 television is all I'm going to say. Alexander, I'm so happy that you raised all that money for your brother's charity. And, oh my God, just insanity from you. You are such a genuine, wonderful person. Same with Frankie, to be fair. They're both such genuinely lovely people. And it just fills my heart with joy to see people like that on a TV show get as far as they did. They were a victim of Leanne and Jake, which is a shame. I feel like Frankie should have stuck with Alexander at the end and she probably could have made it a little bit further. But I don't know. It was a tough one. It really, really was. It was really tough to work out what was going on in that final the final banishment circle, because you just don't know what's going on at that point. But either way, these two, absolute icons. I have to rate them 10 out of 10. I loved them so much, and if they turn up in anything else, I will be watching. I want to watch them race around the world. They have to. Oh, Leanne and Jake, where am I going to put you? Now, this is going to really fuck off people, but I'm going to put Leanne at the end. Oh, no, I'm going to put her above Ellen, but below Freddy. Leanne had a good way of playing the game where nobody really suspected her of being a traitor because of how defensive she got when questioned. It was the kind of defense that you give when you genuinely are like, what the fuck? Why would you even think that? It wasn't like a defense where you've been caught. It was a defense where you're pissed off because you're being accused of something you haven't done. And I feel like that kept her strong. She also was close to Mina, which kept her in the game a long time. And then when Mina left, the decision to kill her was done based purely on the fact she had a shield and it was setting Freddy up. So there was never a point in the game where I felt like Leanne was at danger of going, because Leanne was a number for Mina. Leanne genuinely believed it was Mina. Same with Jake, and I'll get onto Jake in a second. In fact, I'm going to put Jake above Leanne but below Freddy, because Jake had one good moment in this entire series, and that was noticing Linda and the head turn. Other than that, I don't think he had a single correct theory. Like a single one. I think he kind of jumped on the bandwagon with Armani. He didn't even get on the bandwagon with Mina. He just made a decision about Charlotte. I don't think he made any good decision above like getting rid of Linda and noticing that straight away. So I feel like that was a got lucky moment. He just got lucky that he happened to be looking in Linda's direction at that point. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I feel like these two, they won. Did they deserve to win? I don't think anybody deserves to win the Traitors. There's no deserving about it. It's all a game of numbers. It's a game of trust in other players. And clearly they had more trust in each other than they did their fellow players. So you can't really talk about deserving it because there is no deserving. Like, I could say that Lisa deserved it, but Lisa got killed. Do you know what I mean? So it's a tough one. It really is. It's all about managing like friendships and alliances and all of that. It's a lot more intricate than just sitting around a round table and guessing who a traitor is. You have to have support from people, especially as a traitor and especially as a faithful. Otherwise, you could be next. So I have been whittering on for over half an hour now. So thank you guys for watching. This is my rankings. I think this is a good one. I don't think there was any faithfuls that made it into the legendary tier, but the traitors obviously did. They were exceptional this year for the most part. So good job I'm impressed. I'm excited for season 4. And if you are liking the Traitors UK, you're going to love this latest series of the Traitors US. It is chaotic. It is crazy. And I think it might be one of the best series of the Traitors I've ever seen. The round tables, every single one is 10 out of 10. Better than most of the ones in this series, I'll be 100% honest. They are so good. So make sure you go check that out. I'm doing recaps on the channel as well. And it's all on BBC iPlayer if you're in the UK. In the US, Peacock, I think it's on. Which, like, I don't know what Peacock is. But anyway, I think it's the NBC one in it. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Do all that YouTube stuff that you guys do so well. And I will see you guys later. Keep on ranting. Bye now.